All right. Part 5 is the next one. I want to kind of go over this one just a little bit because I think it's really, really important. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week emergency assistance, okay? The 24-hour, 7-day-a-week emergency assistance lasts like this. If you have an emergency, this has to be an emergency, okay? You always want to make sure to call the police, fire first, okay? But then what you do is you immediately call your law firm. Maybe there's a wreck. Maybe someone's trying to take your children. Maybe it's a holiday and your ex basically decided to try to file paperwork so you didn't get to see your kids. Maybe you just fallen and you can't get up, okay? Maybe your rights are not being protected for some reason and you feel that you need to have a lawyer right there on the spot. I have called the emergency service for wrecks I've gotten into because I've slid on the ice where people have run into me, where I've run into people, and I call it because I make sure that the situation is handled. And if somebody dies or something, we're always there to help. Okay, now with the 24/7, 7-day-a-week emergency assistance for some military, like in Illinois, I've talked with our law firm, and they will treat the 24/7 as a regular attorney while you're overseas or deployed in combat zones or deployed because your time differences are different. All right. 6. After 90 days, if you've been with us for 90 days, since we have no contracts, co-pays, or anything else, okay? We are going to offer you uncontested situations. Uncontested means the other person is not going to fight you on it. You guys can get along together long enough to get it handled. We will handle the paperwork and we'll handle the documents. You still have to pay the court fees, okay? But we'll do uncontested name change, uncontested adoption, uncontested divorce, uncontested separation, uncontested annulments. We'll help you with personal bankruptcies, all right? And that's after 90 days. Now, how many people say they can get a divorce and all you got to do is go in and pay $120, whatever it is, from whatever county, state, or city you're in to get the courthouse's permission, okay? But the lawyers will handle everything else as long as you both can get along, okay? Maybe you want to have a name change because something has happened in your life. Do you want to change your name, okay? Maybe, and you know you're allowed to do that. So the whole idea is we do this after 90 days. All right, part 7, we'll give you 60 hours from day 1. Now this one's a little important because a lot of people don't understand that. What happens if you're named in a lawsuit? Okay, somebody needs to bring you into court. What happens if something happens, you know? We're going to give you 60 hours of civil trial defense time. That's trial, pre-trial, discovery phase. 60 hours is a long time, all right? How expensive is a lawyer? But now all of a sudden our lawyers are giving you 60 hours. Now, this is a defensive measure, not an offensive, meaning if somebody sues you or your family, something happens with your kids, something's going on to where you got to go into court, something's happened to where you've been wronged in some way, okay? And we're going to give you 60 hours from day 1. Now, each year we're going to give you another 60 on the anniversary that you came into us because, like I said, we have no contracts. And with everything else we add, this is going to keep you from having to go to court. Why? Because what happens once you hit 5 years and you got 300 hours of civil trial defense time? Okay? I said 500, I meant to say 300 hours because it's 60 every year, up to 5 years, 300 hours. So what does that do for you? That means you're putting a wall of protection around you. You have legal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Something happens, you're covered. And let's face it, now, if you want to go sue somebody, that's going to be at a 25% preferred member discount. However, it's not about you. It's about if something happens to you or somebody comes after you. Our job is to protect you, okay? Our job is, if we could sue everybody for that 60 hours, there would be no reason for anything else. So, people that ask me, well, can I sue? No. It is a defensive measure, meaning 60 hours every year, somebody sues you, you're named in a lawsuit, you have to go to court. Somebody's doing some really bad things, our lawyers will talk to you. They'll go in and they'll help you take care of it. They're going to give you 60 hours. I tell you this, I needed it a bunch of times and I used it and I was happy with it. All right, 8. I'm kind of going out of order here a little bit, but I'm doing these separately each time. Next I want to do is I want to go over wills, healthcare power of attorney, living will. All right. Now, I know in the military, they're going to help you get your will and everything done, all right? But once you're out, or even when you're in, you want to make sure your wife gets her will done. They're not going to do your wife's will. If you got kids and stuff, you want to get your healthcare power of attorney done, which is separate from a will. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't care. People can have whatever I got. That's wrong. Most states are what they call probate states. Do you really think that your wishes are always going to be granted if you don't have paperwork on them? Or maybe the state, maybe somebody got in a wreck, maybe somebody got killed, maybe there's a life insurance policy. Do you not want that to be defended on you? You need to take care of your life. You need to take care of your last wishes. What happens if you go into a coma? What happens if you're on medication, okay? Who are you going to trust? What a will does, a will is good for life with us. Whether you stick with us or not, we're going to do your will and your wife's will, or your domestic partner's will. Both of you guys get your will done. Now, maybe you already have a will, but you want to update it. We'll update it at no charge every year for you, whether it's the will we did or a will that you already got done. Every year we'll update your will at no extra charge. And then we're going to send you your healthcare power of attorney like a lot of people forget to do. My dad's will cost almost $2,000 when my mom died in 1990. Turned out if he would have had this service, it would have cost him $15.95. That's it. Why? Because of how our network works of proprietary law firms, okay, representing all states of the United States. We also represent all provinces and territories of Canada and the United Kingdom. But we are United States. Get your will done. It is the greatest gift you can give to your family and friends and everybody else. All right, next is traffic-related situations, okay? So you're driving down the road and you're going a little fast. Do you want that to go on your insurance? It may be your fault, but do you have to suffer for it for the rest of your life? I've had people like, well, it's my fault. Great. Do you want to suffer for that for the next 5 years where you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars because you were going 5 to 10 miles over? Okay, maybe you're getting a parking ticket because there wasn't a sign posted. Maybe you were going a little too fast in an area because there was road construction on your normal path or route, okay? Maybe your insurance companies are not looking at everything completely. All traffic-related situations, okay? Now, what we do not cover for 100% is drugs, alcohol, drag racing, things that would be a criminal intent, all right? But if it's not your fault and it's not criminal, we will cover them and we will go into court and we're going to fight for the best deal for you depending on what the ticket was, okay? Depending on what you got the ticket for. Pretty good deal, I think. And thing about it is, Jag and all them are not going to handle that. How many of you guys drive home every day? How many of you guys are speeding to get back to formation on time? How many of you guys get on a 96 or a 120 and you're just gone like the wind? How many of y'all came off Camp Lejeune on a rainy day and sold like 20, 30 people off the side of the road? How many of y'all went over to Fort Leonard Wood and noticed that it's nothing but freaking cornfields and pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you see all these trees and everything, but you're on these roads that get really boring because you're on them for hours and you go a little fast. Maybe you get in a wreck. Traffic-related situations. Maybe somebody died and you didn't even know it because of the ice on the road or something. This has happened even to me. So we're going to handle all traffic-related situations. Next, if you ever buy a home, we'll actually review all your home stuff to buying a home. We'll read it all in its entirety, okay? So once we will read that in its entirety. Unlike the contracts and documents we read, but your home stuff we'll read in its entirety so that you can actually get the best deal for that. We will give you, this is next, we will give you 50 hours of IRS audit service, which means you can get audited by the IRS. We're going to handle your IRS audit service, and I know a lot of you, in fact 90 to 98% of you, have no idea how to handle an audit. What happens when the IRS comes after you, and with everything going on and with payments and not having receipts and stuff like that, you're going to need as much help as you can. We're going to give you 50 hours of IRS audit service at no extra charge. And for right now, I'm going to end this now. I'm going to do a couple more of these later on, and I'm going to do a couple live feeds and everything else. But the very last thing I want to kind of go over is let you know that no matter what, you're always covered with a 25% preferred member discount from our provided law firms, okay? What you do is you call into our main law firms. They're going to give you all the advice. They're going to help you come to an educated decision. So if there's anything I didn't cover, you can call them and ask them. And if it's something that's outside of our scope, we will give you, at the very least, look at that, everybody, it's my time. We will give you at the very least a 25% preferred member discount. A lot of law firms give you a lot more. A lot of them don't charge you for certain paperwork. but you're going to have to call in and get that information. All right, everybody, I'm going to end it here for today. I'm Jeffrey Jansen. I want you to go to lsmill.com, or you can go and find me at jeffjansen.info. So JEFFJANSEN.info. Oops, I have to put that back. All right. You can also go over to lsmil.com. If you're a truck driver or getting into the trucking industry, you can go to usatrucker.usatrucker.org. All right. Again, my name is Jeffrey Jansen. Give me a call at 217-316-0219. Thanks, everybody.